What would you do if you had a chance to sleep with your celebrity crush, but you're engaged? Would you throw away the love and trust that have been built over the years? Or would you skip the chance for a happy ever after with the love of your life? In the opening scene of the list, Abby and Matt are hanging out with friends to celebrate their engagement. Connor makes a toast to them, which makes them joke about not letting him speak at their wedding. Connor leaves to get more drinks, and Abby turns to her friends to thank them for flying in to celebrate their engagement, but soon discovers that they got tickets for a concert, which is another reason why they're in town. Just then, Connor comes back with tequila shots for everyone. He looks over at the counter and spots a popular actress, Kenzie Scott. He announces this to the table and everyone turns to look at her. Matt can't take his eyes off her, and Connor tells him to walk up to her. Matt confesses that she's on his celebrity free pass list. Abby, who's unaware of this list, questions him, and he explains that there's no real list, but if there was, Kenzie would be on it. She doesn't seem happy with his statement, and he brings up one of her favorite celebrities, Oscar Isaac. Abby doesn't think Kenzie is worth being compared to Oscar. She asked who else is on his list. Connor then decides that they should make one. They each make a list as they drink. Afterward, they leave the bar. Matt kisses Abby goodbye as she leaves with her friends to continue their girls' night. Matt flags down a cab and Kenzie, the popular actress, approaches the cab. She realizes that it's for him and apologizes. Matt tells her to take the cab, and she asks where he's headed. In the next scene, a planner monitors the arrangement of the bridal shower prepared for Abby. Chloe spots a girl named Chelsea eating some cake and runs over to stop her, because they were supposed to wait till Abby arrives, but Chelsea continues eating the cake. Chloe texts Abby to find out where she is. Meanwhile, Abby mouths the speech being made by the mayor. Immediately after the speech, she runs up to him to give him an update on his global warming address, which will take place in 3 months. Abby is in charge of writing the manuscript for Mayor Capozzi's speech. The mayor isn't interested in talking about the global warming speech, since it's still far away, and reminds Abby about her bridal shower. She checks the time and realizes that she's late. Capozzi offers to help her, and gives her a train ticket before zooming off in his car. Back at the bridal shower, Abby's mom asks Chloe if her daughter is working, and Chloe tries to cover up with a lie, but Abby's mom knows her daughter. Just then, the event planner walks up to Chloe and informs her that the gelato is melting. Chloe suggests that they put it back in the freezer, but the event planner decides to use the backup gelato instead. Chloe gets a call from Abby. The bridal shower event starts with a video from Matt to retrace the steps that led to them being engaged. The video is funny and romantic. Abby can't help but smile as she recalls their memories in each of the places shown in the video. Just then, Matt goes online and they tune in. Connor is with Matt, and he tells him that she's perfect. The problem, however, is that the two men are unaware that they are on video, and continue talking. Abby smiles, thinking they are talking about her, but soon senses something off about the conversation. Soon enough, Connor mentions something about Matt checking a movie star off his list. Chloe desperately tries to end the video, but it doesn't work. Just then, Matt and Connor arrive at the venue and realize that they are on video, when Abby welcomes them by yelling at Matt for sleeping with Kenzie Scott. Abby confronts him, and discovers that he slept with her the day they all went to the bar, which was also the day they got engaged. Matt thinks it was fine, since she was on his list, but this doesn't calm her down, since the list was made as a joke while they were drunk and celebrating. Matt tries to make an excuse, saying that she would have done the same thing, but she disagrees because she wouldn't want to hurt him. He then suggests that she sleeps with a celebrity to make it equal. She's left dumbfounded and walks out on him. In the next scene, Abby lies down helplessly on a couch. Just then, the mayor knocks on the glass to invite her into his office. He read the speech she wrote on global warming and thinks it is not good enough. She offers to rewrite it, but he informs her that he'll be running for presidency and needs everything to be perfect. But since her personal life is in a mess, he'll be firing her. She understands and leaves, but not without the mayor asking her to shred the speech. In the next scene, Abby and Chloe are at a bar. Abby is frustrated that she lost her dream job because of her fiancé's unfaithfulness. She informs Chloe that she wrote a list, which turns out to be a list of ways that Matt could perish. Chloe thinks that getting away from her usual environment will be better for her, but Abby reminds her that she's getting married in 3 weeks and can't travel. Seeing her mentioning the wedding makes Chloe surprised that the wedding hasn't been called off, and Abby explains that they have a lot of history together. Chloe doesn't want to pry, and convinces Abby to go back to Los Angeles with her to clear her mind off things before the wedding. When they get there, Chloe takes Abby to an outdoor restaurant to relax, but it becomes chaotic when Abby sees a billboard with Kenzie Scott on it. Chloe successfully drags her out of there. Chloe takes her to an indoor restaurant. Abby has overdosed on sleeping pills and is not in her right senses. She spots Nick Viall, a celebrity on her list, and approaches him after asking the waiter, Jake, if she has a chance with Nick. Abby is straightforward due to the and makes Nick uncomfortable, but he continues chatting with her. Chloe thinks that it's going well, and Jake agrees. Just then, a woman named Lena arrives, who turns out to be Nick's girlfriend. Jake immediately tells Chloe about how violent Lena is, saying that she once stabbed a waiter with a fork because she didn't like how he poured her water. Nick introduces his girlfriend to Abby and tries to cover up for her, but she confesses that she wants to sleep with him. Lena gets annoyed and requests a fork. Chloe immediately jumps up and runs to save her friend. She takes Abby out of the restaurant, and they are followed by Jake. He asks if Abby is okay and says that he thinks that she has a shot. Abby appreciates him and wants to go back inside, but Chloe drags her off. In the next scene, Abby is on a video call with the event planner, talking about the changes that are to be made. Chloe ends the call and asks Abby to stop emailing the wedding planner when she's drunk. Just then, an interview with Kenzie Scott is being shown on TV. The host is asking about Kenzie's type, and Abby starts imagining things. Chloe notices and calls her back to reality. Abby asks if she had a chance with Nick Viall, and Chloe confirms. Abby then tells her that there are 4 names left on her list. They start making a plan, and Abby suggests that they call Chloe's ex-girlfriend Sam, who's a talent agent, but Chloe strongly opposes. Abby names the celebrities on her list, and they mark up a map. The next day, Chloe wakes Abby to attend a spin class posted by Oscar Isaac. On getting there, they wait for Oscar's arrival. Abby thinks they're in the wrong class, and Chloe suggests that they leave before the class starts. Just then, the coach walks up to them and asks them to hop on a bike, but they tell her that they're leaving. The coach doesn't let them leave and starts the class. Abby and Chloe are tired after a few minutes. Chloe gets off her bike, informing her friend that they have to leave for the next class. In the next class, they don't see Oscar Isaac, and are forced to work out again. They join several classes and are unlucky. In their last class, they see the waiter, who tells them that Oscar Isaac is usually in the class, but won't be coming that day. Oscar is canceled from the list, and the class starts. During the class, the coach calls out Abby for pretending to work out when her legs are not touching the pedals of the bike. After the class, Jake talks to Chloe and Abby. He reminds them that they owe him a favor, so he asks Abby to help with his photography job, since Chloe is busy. In the next scene, Abby proceeds to help Jake by asking people to move out of the way so that he can take pictures of the street. She receives a message from Matt, who wants them to talk about the wedding. Abby waits till when Jake is done. Later, Abby and Jake are on their way back, and they talk about his photography job. She thinks he's selling air, and he convinces her otherwise with the speech he's practiced. Jake asks about the incident at the cafe, and she reveals to him that her fiancé slept with Kenzie Scott because he took the free pass list seriously. He asks who is on her list, offering to help her. Just then, Chloe calls with news about Cooper Grant, another celebrity on Abby's list. She finds out that he's into CrossFit, but Abby doesn't think it's a good lead, and tells Chloe that she has called some reinforcements. Chloe isn't happy about this. In the next scene, Abby and Chloe visit Sam at her office. Things are awkward between Sam and Chloe. They wait for Sam to finish some work before she attends to them. When she's done, Sam asks to know what they need her help with. But before Abby can talk, Chloe interrupts to let Sam know that she's doing well without her. Abby informs Sam about her situation, and after listening to them, Sam concludes that she can't help them. Chloe tries to provoke Sam by telling Abby that she knows Sam can't help, because she's not powerful enough to get to those people. Her plan works, and Sam decides to help them get on the set where Mac West is filming a commercial. In the next scene, Abby works as an assistant, carrying a stack of coffee as she follows the director around. A woman named Patty pretends to be friendly with Abby while the director is around, but calls Abby out for getting the job through connections when the director leaves. Abby tries to clear the misunderstanding and introduce herself, but Patty doesn't like even the sight of Abby and warns her not to show up in front of her. Later on, Patty instructs Abby to wash the wheels of a car. Patty gets a message from the director asking her to get Mac to the set in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Abby gets a message from Jake, who wants to show her one of his favorite lunch places. Patty leaves to deploy the wardrobe, and Abby gets an idea. She decides to drive Mac to the set instead of Patty. Abby introduces herself to him, but he calls her Patty, despite knowing her name. She's new on set, so he guides her as she drives the car around. He takes a sip of the coffee Abby gave him, and comments that it tastes different. He starts reacting to the coffee, and finds out that it has hazelnut in it. Mac is allergic to hazelnuts, and this causes Abby to panic. He's not got an EpiPen. Just then, Patty shows up with EpiPens and stabs him in the back with it. Mac West is automatically canceled from the list. So far, Abby does not seem to be making progress on her quest. In the next scene, Chloe and Abby see an article written about the incident. Just then, Jake arrives informing them that Celso, the owner of the lunch place, is going to make some empanadas for them. Abby, Jake, and Chloe enjoy their food, and Abby compares it to street meat in New York. She finds out that Jake has never been to New York, despite wanting to start a souvenir shop there. Abby promises to be his tour guide if he comes to New York, and they clink their bottles. Jake leaves to get some more food. Chloe had been watching them, and she points out Abby's smile, which she believes is because of Jake, who seems to be into Abby. Jake comes back with some cake for them. Just then, Abby gets a call from Sam and leaves the table. Chloe explains to Jake that it's her ex-girlfriend. and lies that Sam is obsessed with her. Sam tells Abby that she got her into the A-List Film Awards, an event that Cooper Grant will be attending. This is another headway for her. In the next scene, Abby and a few others are briefed on their roles as seat fillers for the award. Meanwhile, Sam and Chloe are watching the awards at Chloe's house. Sam is supposed to be at the awards, but skipped it. She can't help but worry, and Chloe is prepared to make a list of things that could go wrong. Later at the award, the crowd is monitored, and the seat fillers are sent to any seat left unoccupied. A woman sitting beside Cooper Grant is squirming, and they suspect that she'll soon need to use the bathroom. Abby backs off and runs to meet the seat filler who will be occupying the woman's seat till she comes back. Abby is surprised to meet Patty since she wasn't at the rehearsals. She asks Patty if she can go next, but Patty doesn't agree. Abby shoves Patty aside and hurries to fill the seat beside Cooper Grant. They start a conversation, and she offers to help him with his acceptance speech. He gives her his speech to revise. Back at Chloe's house, the nominees for Best Actors are displayed on the screen, and they see Abby sitting next to Cooper. Chloe celebrates their success, but Sam asks her not to get ahead of herself. Cooper wins the award and Abby stands up, clapping her hands. At the awards, the owner of the seat comes back from her bathroom break and Abby leaves. Cooper uses the speech Abby wrote for him, and she feels proud of herself. Later, Cooper comes backstage and asks her to celebrate with him. In the next scene, Abby gets a message from Matt, who saw her on TV and asks her not to shut him out. Cooper and Abby arrive at his apartment. He leaves to drop his jacket, and she gets scared when someone lying in the dark greets her. It's Ari Miller, Cooper's best friend. Cooper comes back and notices Ari's presence. They don't seem to be on good terms. Cooper and Abby make up an excuse before leaving for his room. Abby still can't believe that she's with Cooper. The mood is set, and they lean in for a kiss, but Cooper stops to ask if she knew Ari was living with him. Abby finds out that a lot of girls leave Cooper for Ari, which is surprising, considering that Cooper is sexy while Ari has a big pot belly. Just then, Ari walks into the room to use Cooper's bathroom tub when he has a tub in his room. Abby tries to comfort Cooper, but he ends up getting annoyed by Ari, who keeps making annoying comments. Due to this, Ari and Cooper end up fighting each other, and Cooper is cancelled out of her list. Abby gets back tired and is welcomed by Chloe, who wants to know the details. Abby gives her a summary and asks that they never speak about it again. Chloe tries to bring up the next guy on Abby's list, but Abby just heads for her room. It seems the whole ordeal is making her tired already. In the next scene, Abby gets a message from Matt, which she ignores to pick up a call from the mayor, who wants her back after trying different speechwriters. She accepts, and he tells her to submit a draft by next week before ending the call. Just then, Jake shows up. He thought she wouldn't be coming and she apologizes, saying that she had a rough night. They go hiking and get to a beach. They sit on a log, watching the sunset. Abby and Jake talk about the list, and Jake thinks that finding someone to spend the rest of your life with is a better fantasy. He shows her one of his sightseeing prototypes to get her opinion before the pitch meeting later in the week. She likes it and advises him not to give up. He stares at her and gets caught. Jake tells Abby that she's making him believe in things that he once doubted, and how the moments with her are worth sealing. She leans in for a kiss, giving into the moment. In the next scene, Abby clears the board and removes the marks on the map. She scraps her list and tells Chloe that it isn't the healthy way to deal with things. Chloe is proud of her and hugs her. Abby tells Chloe that she's meeting Jake the next day. Chloe becomes sad and tries to fake a smile, but Abby notices. She confesses that she's been spending a lot of time with Sam because of Abby's list, but is scared that she won't be able to do that now that Abby is done with the list. Just then, Sam arrives at the house. She gives them invites to a party where Avon, the last guy on Abby's list, will be. Chloe continues to tell Sam about the cancellation of the list, but Abby interrupts and says that she can't wait. She owes Chloe and decides to help her with Sam. At the cafe, Jake gets a message from Abby, who says that they should reschedule their date. Abby, Sam, and Chloe go to the party. Sam leaves to get more drinks and sees Avon. She hurries back to tell Abby and encourages her to go and talk to him. She explains the situation to him and asks him to go along with it, which he hesitantly agrees to. Chloe and Sam are spying on them, so they have to keep up the act for a while, and Avon does surprisingly well. They stop as soon as Sam and Chloe leave. Abby proceeds to leave too, but Avon asks her to pretend to be his girlfriend when he sees his ex coming. His ex turns out to be Kenzie Scott, the actress Matt slept with, who Abby can't help but be disgusted by. Abby is unable to keep acting and confronts Kenzie. She finds out that Kenzie was not aware of his engagement, and tells Abby to figure out why her man acted on his list, instead of blaming her. Abby walks out angrily. Chloe tries to comfort Abby, who's starting to think that she's at fault for Matt sleeping with Kenzie. Avon walks up to them and apologizes to Abby for the incident with Kenzie. Abby immediately starts kissing him, and Chloe leaves the two of them. The kiss is interrupted by a hurt Jake, who asks if that's why she canceled, and she tries to explain. Jake finds out that she's still engaged to Matt, and walks out. Abby follows him, but somehow loses him. She calls him on her way home, and leaves a voice message for him. Things have gotten way out of hand for her in just a day. Like that is not enough, Abby gets home to see Matt waiting by the door. He asks if they can talk, and she agrees. He informs her that the wedding planner called to make a list of bands to attend the wedding, but she's not interested. Matt pleads with her to give their relationship a chance. She gets angry when she thinks of how he threw their 5-year relationship away for a one-night stand. Matt reads the vow he prepared for their wedding to her, and she's touched. He walks her back to the house and tries to kiss her, but she flinches. They hug instead, and she bids him goodnight. As she leaves, he comments on the walk-up. Abby remembers Kenzie talking about Matt's place having a walk-up. It turns out that Matt slept with Kenzie more than once. In the next scene, Abby keeps staring at her laptop. Chloe asks if Jake has reached out, but he hasn't. Abby wants to appreciate Chloe for her efforts and support, but Chloe doesn't think she'd have gotten back with Sam without Abby. Sam joins them at the table, kissing Chloe on the head before taking a seat. She asks Abby what she wants to do before her flight, and Abby tells them that she'll be leaving for the airport as early as possible. Chloe remembers something and gets an envelope that came through the mail. She gives it to Abby, who opens it and is surprised by the contents. In the next scene, Abby goes to the bike class, and the coach remarks when she sees her. She's there to see Jake, but sees Kenzie instead. Kenzie apologizes for the way she spoke, but Abby thinks that she was right. She didn't want to admit that Matt was at fault, but she knows now that he didn't care about her. Abby asks the coach about Jake, and she says that he had a meeting to attend. Abby runs out of the class, and Kenzie follows her. She offers Abby a ride, and they talk about Matt. Meanwhile, Jake is finding it hard to pitch his ideas successfully. He starts sweating as he gets nervous. Abby and Kenzie arrive at Vanderton Capital, and Abby runs into the building. Abby interrupts Jake's pitching to give him the envelope, but can't find it. Suddenly, Kenzie runs in with it. She informs the company that Jake has written permission from the mayor to use any landmark in New York City. She pitches Jake to the company, but Jake informs her that they already said yes. She celebrates with him. The company decides to give a bigger project to Jake, who's more than happy to do it. After the pitch meeting, Abby and Jake take a walk. He's surprised that the mayor permitted him, and is thankful to her. Abby kisses him, just before Kenzie runs up to remind her of her flight. Abby informs Kenzie that she'll call a car instead, and Kenzie confesses that she doesn't have a driver's license. Abby runs back to kiss Jake one last time. Abby waits for the car she called by the roadside, and Patty pulls up. Not again. She's surprised to see the woman, but enters the car anyway. On the plane, Abby listens to the voice messages Jake left her. He will be coming to New York soon, and also wishes her good luck in her meeting. She closes her laptop, and the woman beside her strikes up a conversation with her about airlines holding the plane for important personnel. It happens that Oscar Isaac is in first class. The woman beside Abby excitedly exclaims that Oscar Isaac is on her list of celebrities she'd like to sleep with. Her husband is surprised and questions her about the list. Meanwhile, Abby smiles and blocks them out by putting on her headphones. It appears that other people have the fantasy list too.